Hey, what's up guys, for coming at you with another Weiss Schwarz work in progress deck profile. And for this video, we are going to be doing an update to my Kurumi Tokisaki deck. This will probably be the last update before the actual list, officially the final list I'm going to play for this, comes out, as the set is dropping this Friday in Japan. So hopefully I will, fingers crossed, have my playset in at least 2 weeks. I'm probably have to take a little bit longer, but I cannot wait to actually physically play with these cards. And of course, I'll be doing updated profiles and the final profiles for every deck once I work out what I'm doing, once I get my cards. So if you haven't already been keeping up with the series that we've been doing on this, these are deck profiles based on Katakawa Fujimi Bunko cards, as well as card of the day reveals for the Data Live cards up to the specific date. And we're filming this on the 6th of July. I believe it was the 6th. It was the 6th or the 5th. Oh my god. Starting off with our grade zeros, we have 4 copies of Mad Nightmare Kurumi Tokisaki. She's a tap self brainstormer that's going to go ahead and be able to search our deck for a update or spirit character for every climax that we mill. And then of course she has an ability that at the start of our climax phase we can pump 500 power to one of our characters. Normally I'd only be playing 3 level 0 brainstormers, but our early play does require this in the clock, so it's nice to have 4 copies. Next up, 3 copies of Transfer Student Kurumi Tokisaki, one of my favorite characters in the entire set. So it gives global 500 to all our date or spirit characters, and we can rest it to take characters from a waiting room into our clock, and at the end of the turn we will put them back into the waiting room. Now when you put them back, it will trigger anti-heal, so you do need to be aware if your opponent's playing that, but it is a nice way to kind of manipulate your clock to get the different effects of your Kurumis depending on what you need. You can also use it to level yourself up. The other effect is very similar. We can rest her and take 2 cards from our clock and chuck them into memory until the end of the turn. At the end of the turn, we do put them back. 3 copies of Kurumi power to turn back time. If we have 4 or more damage, she is a pay 1 twin drive, which is very nice. It means we can trigger Trust, which can we also use to pay out climaxes or cards that we've triggered that we want to get out. And then the second effect is if we have 3 or less damage, she's a free runner. So definitely some nice utility there. And of course we can use the transfer student to kind of change that how we want depending on what we need in our turn. Next up we have power to stop time, Kurumi Tokisaki. So when she comes into play, she gets +1/5 until the end of the turn, and she's also an anti-runner for the opponent's character in front, meaning that they can't move. So nice beat stick and something that stops our opponent's characters from moving. Next up, 3 copies of Shaken Heart Kurumi Tokisaki. 2 effects, again, different based on the amount of damage you have. If you have 3 or less, she's a pay 1, drop 1 deck searcher. And if you have 4 or more damage, she's a pay 1, drop 1 salvager that also pumps 1000 power to one of your data spirits until the end of the turn. The last 2 grade zeros we play are 2 copies of Kurumi Trying On. This is kind of like a pseudo replacement for the Shido from the Bunko set, but now it's a Kurumi, so you get max style points for having pure Kurumi in your deck. So you return 2 character from the waiting room to your hand. You can shuffle this deck when she enters the turn. And she can side without losing soul penalty, which can be really nice if you have a grade, if you have enough stock and you really want to side against something big and get some damage in. When she attacks, choose one of your other state or spirit characters, and during this turn it gets 1/5. So definitely some nice utility. Grade 1s, we have 4 copies of our level 1 combos. This is a new card that you didn't see in the last profile. This card is really good. I absolutely love this card. So this card is City of Devouring Time Kurumi. So during your turn, she gets 500 power for each of your other date or spirit characters. She has a climax combo with the choice trigger, not the coterie trigger. She has her own choice trigger called Special Existence. And if you have at least one other character with date or spirit, you have to look at the top 2 cards of your deck when she attacks, put up to 1 of them in stock, and put the rest on the top of your deck or waiting room in any sequence. So basically, you can use this combo to kind of guarantee what you're going to put into your stock. Now, this combo is great, and it definitely helps the Kurumi deck make a lot of the stock that it does need. The downside of this combo is it doesn't plus you hand, so you have to be very careful with the Kurumi deck to make sure you're maintaining hand presence, but you do have a lot of searching, you do a lot of brainstormer, so there's definitely a lot of things you can do to try to maintain your hand presence, as she does have a lot of encore, she does have standby, so it is a very interesting deck. It's definitely, I think, something that Bushi tried to focus on, allowing us to make a pure Kurumi deck, because it all works together really, really well. So next up we have 3 copies of another new Kurumi card. So this Kurumi is called Me at This Period. So she has a 106k, which is pretty decent for a 1-0, nice power. The downside is she does give all our opponent's characters auto encore 2, which isn't really a huge downside if you ask me, because at that point no one's really going to pay 2 to encore a character. It's like That's pretty costly. Not many people pay 3 Encore, so pay 2 Encore isn't really that much different. And then, of course, her ability activates once per turn. When she's reversed in battle, you get to reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a level 2 or above character, you get to rest this card. We are paying quite a few level 2 and above cards in this deck, so definitely will go off. Just to fill out our grade 1 slots, we have 2 copies of the TD Kurumi, which is Kurumi Engraved Despair. Now, we don't play the Climax combo because I don't like it. The only reason we're using it, she's 4/5 during your turn. If all your characters are Daedal Spirit, she gets plus 2k. So she's a 1/0/6/5 in your turn as a beat stick. And we round off our grade 1 lineup with 2 copies of Kurumi A Little Disappointed. So when she enters the battle, enters the stage, attacks, or goes to waiting room, you get to look at the top card of your library, either leave it there or put it in the waiting room. So some very nice utility here. You could easily max out on 4 of these if you wanted to over the TD, but I do think 2 of the TD and 2 of this is perfectly fine. Moving on to grade 2s. First off, we have 3 copies of Desperate Situation Kurumi Tokisaki. So she is a 2/2. She is our prime standby target at level 1. So she is a continuous effect. She gets an extra 1,000 power for each of your other Date or Spirit characters, and she has Hand Encore. So a very nice card that you want to stand by. Of course, earlier on in the game, what's good about playing standby is you can stand by this out at grade 0 to get this combo off as quickly as possible, as you definitely want to try and pull this combo off as quickly as possible. Last grade 2, we have 2 copies of Kurumi, Swimsuit Kurumi. So this may change depending on if she gets like a level 1 counter or something like that, or a better counter. I don't really think she's going to get too many more cards. She kind of has the best, I think she has the most cards in the set already, and she definitely has the most variety of cards in terms of utility. It's a 2/1/2/5 counter that also we can pay to when we play it to free refresh our deck, so can help us out in a very tight situation. Moving on to grade 3s. First off, we have 2 copies of Kurumi. 2 copies of Kurumi Under the Blue Sky. She's a 10k, and if you have Mad Nightmare Kurumi, which is, of course, a Brainstormer in your clock, she gets -1 level in your hand. When she enters the stage, from hand, you get to look at the top X cards of your deck, add 1 to hand, put the rest into the waiting room, where X is the number of your characters with Date or Spirit. Now, she doesn't heal, so you could easily cut this. You don't really need this. Our other grade 3s are a lot better, but can help you dig for climaxes if you really want to pull off your main grade 3 climax combo. But the secondary grade 3 doesn't need a climax combo and is, in my opinion, arguably better, but can help you thin your deck if you need to, and can be a nice beat stick at level 2. But honestly, sometimes I feel like the 2/2 Kurumi can be better than this, but it all comes down to personal preference. If she gets better cards, we will use that instead. Continuing on with our grade 3s, we have 3 copies of a card simply called Kurumi Tokisaki. Now, this is not the SP, surprisingly, and it's not the secret rare. So, yeah, the secret sign. So that actually surprised me, because I arguably think this card is better than the other grade 3 Kurumi, to be brutally honest with you. You guys may disagree, but just my opinion. I feel this is much, in all the testing I've done with this is much more reliable than the other grade 3. So if you have 2 or more Date or Spirit characters, she gets +1/5 power, and the following ability: when she reverses an opponent in battle, you get to put that character into memory. So she's Memory Kick. She's like, if you have 2 or more other Date or Spirit characters you can have in your back row, she's a 10/5 Memory Kick, which is insane already. When she enters the stage from hand, you get to heal 1, so a 10/5 Memory Kick that heals. And then on attack, you can pay 3, ditch 1, and if you do, you force your opponent to put the bottom 5 cards of their deck into waiting room, and you get to deal X damage to them during this turn, where X is the number of damage, climaxes they mill, and she gets +2,000 power. Yeah, so really, really good. Becomes a 13/5 if you hit a climax. It kind of reminds me of Ronko in a way, but it's kind of like a reverse Ronko for your opponent. I don't know what is with the Data Live set and the Icy Tail effect. Like, there's 3 cards in the set that have Icy Tail now. There's Kurumi, there's the Bunko Kurumi, and then there's Origami. But this one, I think it's hard to say whether this or the Origami one is the better one, but obviously this is a great grade 3 that I would run 4 copies of, but the pay 3 ditch one is a little bit costly. Even though Kurumi does make a lot of stock, she doesn't necessarily make a lot of hand. So 3 copies I think is fine, and it's really nice that she heals, and it's great having a reliable finisher that heals that doesn't require a climax combo. I feel like that card should have gone to Coterie personally, so Coterie could have got a healer and a proper finisher. But, you know, if you haven't checked my Coterie deck, it is up here on the channel for you guys as well. Last grade 3 is, the grade 3 climax combo, which is Worst Spirit Kurumi. So she's a 9/5, and if you have 2 or more other characters with Date or Spirit, she gets +1k. That is continuous. When she enters the stage, you get to heal 1 from, of course, when you play it from your hand. Then if she attacks, if you have Fearless Smile, which is Standby Climax, and you have 2 or more other Daily Spirits, you get to choose one of the following abilities. The first effect is to stock swap your opponent. So in the original video, I admitted that probably the translation was wrong, and it was wrong. So you get to stock swap your opponent. You get to potentially... you can put discard 2 cards from your hand to deal 3 damage to your opponent, or you can return 3 cards from your opponent's waiting room back to their deck and shuffle it. So one thing I would like, I think is really good, is if you can pull 2 of these Kurumi, and then you have Kurumi Tokisaki, so you have this field, if you can't get to the 3rd one. So you can use this to stock swap your opponent. You can use this to put cards that are not Climaxes back, or even this, you can put Climaxes back to their deck, force them to shuffle, and then you can use this to burn them, or you can put Climaxes back, stock swap them, and then burn them. Like, there's so many ways you can actually use these in combination with each other. They are fantastic grade 3s, and I think it's a little insane that Kurumi got 2 of the best grade 3s in the set. Possibly getting 1 is fine, but as much as I love Kurumi, I feel like her getting both of the best grade 3s in the set is a bit too good, if you ask me. But I mean, I'm not complaining. Well, I am, because I wanted every deck to be good, but Coteries just is a bit, little lackluster, if you ask me personally. But who knows? Climaxes, we have 4 copies of the Choice Climax, which is called Special Existence. So the foils of these are really, really nice. I'm sadly not getting any foils. I'm potentially going to try and get my hands on a box to crack on the channel, so if we can pull some nice foils from that. And then we have 4 copies, of course, of our Standby Climax, which is Fearless Smile, of course, comboing with our grade 3, and our Choice comboing with our grade 1. So if you are coming back to Weiss Schwarz for Dead Alive like I did, Standby and Choice are both new triggers. So Standby, when you play it, you get to pick a character from your waiting room whose level is equal to or lower than your level +1, or higher, sorry. Yeah, higher. +1, so if you're level 1, you can grab level 2, level 2, you can grab level 3, level 0, you can grab level 1. Put it on your stage as rest, and when you play it, you also get that effect, but it doesn't give soul if you play it. And Choice is a 1k1. When you trigger it, you can pick a character with a soul icon in your waiting room, either add it to your hand or put it into your stock. So this card can actually really help you get some hand advantage with your Kurumi, because a lot of our really important cards do have soul triggers. Sadly, our level 1 Climax combo doesn't. But so far, it definitely seems like all these Kurumi cards are really something that you'd want to play together in a mono Kurumi deck. Prior to this, I was thinking of building a Coterie Kurumi deck where you play the Coterie grade 1 over the Kurumi grade 1. But at the end of the day, it's like, you could easily run the Kurumi grade 1. It's a fantastic card, and seeing it's only at the rare slot, it's still arguably one of the really good level 1 combo. There are some fantastic level 1 Climax combos in this set. So anyway, guys, that is it for the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Let me know your thoughts on this video in the comments below. We'll be doing, hopefully, my origami work in progress deck profile very, very soon. Hopefully sometime this week. I want to get it up before the set actually releases. But yeah, and once my cards do come, I will be doing complete profiles with these. I've got a bunch of sleeves I've ordered for this, all themed around them. I cannot wait to be using these. I can't wait to play with these cards. If you like this video, again, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're here. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. Help me reach that 500 subscriber milestone by the end of the year by subbing to the channel. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you for my next video.